the Gatton murders. On December the 26th, 1898, Michael Murphy intended to return to his home in Gatton, Queensland, Australia, with his two younger sisters after a dance they planned to attend was cancelled. They never made it home, unfortunately. The next morning, a deputy was called to investigate a bizarre scene. Michael and his sisters had all been murdered in a field by the side of the road, and their bodies were positioned in a strange manner that has never been repeated in any crime again. Michael and his sister Ellen were lying back to back, nearly touching each other, while the other sister Nora lay in the same east-west orientation on a neatly spread rug, 28 feet to the east. Both ladies had their hands tied behind their backs with handkerchiefs, completing a triangle of sorts. The family's horse cart was facing south, 17.5 feet from Michael and 36 feet from Nora. Their horse had been shot in the head and still lay between the shafts. The legs of all three siblings were arranged with the feet pointing west. The police botched the crime scene. So much evidence was lost, but nobody has ever come up with a decent theory as to why this seemingly average family was killed, or why their assailant would have gone to such great lengths to arrange their bodies in a curious, triangular manner. Shannan Gilbert. In late 2010, the media became frenzied when reports of a serial killer at large in Long Island surfaced. Since the initial bodies were found, approximately 15 more ladies, mostly prostitutes, have been found murdered along a stretch of remote beach towns in Nassau County, New York. Allegedly the work of a serial killer who is still at large, public interest in the case of the Long Island serial killer remains strong. However, the case of Shannan Gilbert seems to be a little bit more complex than the rest of the deaths in the area, and she may not be the victim of this serial killer at all. Shannan Gilbert was last seen alive in May of 2010 near Gilgo Beach in Nassau County. An escort, she was at a client's house with her pseudo-pimp waiting nearby when she became incredibly frightened and erratic. Shannan ran from the house, ran away from her pimp who tried to calm her down, and ran along the road for a bit before disappearing into the dense brush. During her frantic sprint, she called 911 and spoke of her life being in danger and someone wanting to kill her. Several hours later, around 5 in the morning, Shannan appeared at the doorstep of a retiree named Gus Colty, frantically pounding on his front door. He attempted to calm Shannan down and ask her what was wrong. Shannan was hysterical and just continued to repeat, "Help me," over and over again. Obviously concerned, Colty told Shannan everything was going to be okay and that he was going to call the police. Apparently this terrified Shannan, and she ran out of Colty's front door. She was never seen alive again. Months later, Shannan's decomposing remains were found in a marsh not far from where she went missing. Just who or what Shannan was running from that night remains a mystery, and officials do not believe her case is connected to the Long Island serial killer, despite the proximity of her body to other prostitutes found in the investigation. Danny Casolaro. Danny Casolaro was a freelance journalist who was 44 years old when he died under mysterious circumstances in 1991. Casolaro was found dead in a West Virginia Sheraton Hotel bathtub by a member of the hotel's cleaning staff, his wrist having been slashed numerous times. Due to the presence of an alleged suicide note, most were quick to believe Casolaro had died at his own hands. But the mystery was just not that simple. The reports from the scene were somewhat sinister, as there was no trauma to Casolaro's body that would indicate any sort of struggle. Also present in the bathroom was a corked bottle of red wine, a broken wine glass, an empty can of beer, a paper hotel glass coaster, and 2 white trash bags. When they lifted the body out, they found a single-edged razor blade at the bottom of the bloody bath water. It seemed as though Casolaro could have simply been baiting when he was ambushed. Things got even more darker when Casolaro's brother came forward recalling a conversation the two had shared a few weeks prior in which Casolaro warned, "If anything happens to me, don't believe it's an accident." Other friends and family members confirmed that Casolaro had spoken of threats on his life in the months before his demise. Casolaro's journalistic interest in his last months centered heavily on what he called the Octopus, a network of individuals and institutions that he believed had secretly masterminded a series of scandals. It is believed that he was in West Virginia to meet with a member of this cabal when he met his demise. Nobody has ever been charged with the murder of Casolaro, and the member of the Octopus have never been exposed. Morgan Harrington. Morgan Harrington was an attractive, vivacious 20-year-old who was attending college at Virginia Tech University in Blacksburg, Virginia. On October the 17th of 2009, Morgan and a few of her friends drove from Blacksburg to the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia to attend a Metallica concert. While the opening band was performing, Morgan decided to go and use the restroom, figuring that it was better to miss the opening act than her beloved Metallica. Unfortunately, she was never seen alive again. After Morgan failed to return for the beginning of Metallica's performance, her friends became very worried and called her on her cell phone. Morgan explained that she had not been allowed back into the venue due to the no re-entry policy. However, her friends were quite confused because there were bathrooms inside the arena. Morgan told her friends not to worry about her and that she would find a ride home. They assumed that she would be fine and stayed for the duration of the concert. Witnesses saw Morgan outside the venue and stated that she did not appear to be with anyone, adding more mystery to who or what would have made her exit the arena entirely. The last confirmed sightings of Morgan placed her walking alongside the road, possibly hitchhiking, some distance from the concert venue. Morgan's disappearance was investigated tirelessly for weeks and finally came to an end with a gruesome discovery. A farm owner living several miles outside of Charlottesville found skeletal remains on the outskirts of his property, about 2 miles off the map from any public road. The remains were tested and confirmed to be those of Morgan Harrington. She had allegedly met a violent end, and there were signs that she had even been raped. No evidence has surfaced pointing to Morgan's final moments or what made her leave the arena, and nobody has been charged with her murder to date. So that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Until the next video, goodbye.